Tiffany Kim, public sector sales leader at Tynes, is here. Tiffany, thanks for joining me. We talked a moment ago before we turned the cameras on about automation and orchestration being difficult points for agencies that are implementing zero trust. Why are those two places that agencies get hung up?
Yeah, I think, Francis, first of all, thank you for having me. But I think after organizations have started on that zero trust journey and they've picked off a number of the pillars, you've left with automation and orchestration, and you really are not sure which workflows are most important to your agency, not sure which integrations are most critical. So I think there's a hang up with just getting the organizations behind that, what needs to be done. But we're saying, take that thoughtful approach, right? Spend some time to really understand what the priorities are for the organization and how those workflows and integrations will help.
Mm-hmm. The integration piece of it strikes me as that's a technology thing. That's probably not that hard. Are the cultural issues that agencies are dealing with zero trust kind of the major sore spots?
It definitely is. And I think that's why it's so important to get agency cross-team participation, not only for an adoption perspective, but also just to get those inputs, the better understanding of what is most important to the mission for those particular groups, and getting them leveraging the technology so that they're much more comfortable with it. I think you continue to see more adoption when people understand things more, and that happens with actually using the technology.
Yeah, how are organizations doing in the federal government at doing that, at explaining to the people who shouldn't really have visibility into what's happening, explaining to them what's happening?
Yeah, I think we're at an interesting inflection point, right? There's been a lot of change within the government, and I think we're moving away from, tech-heavy people, right? And there's many more citizen developers. So being able to have frank business and technology conversations, that has to blend. And I think when we are looking at things like automation and orchestration, it's how do you translate that into the layperson's, language, because that is, again, what's going to drive that. So finding a platform that can speak both sides of those languages is really important.
The Defense Department has a pretty hard deadline for achieving operationalization of zero trust. The other agencies have goals and timelines and so on too. How do you advise folks to evaluate themselves, to measure themselves, to make sure that they're staying on track and continuing to make progress?
Yeah, it is about having those honest assessments and looking to see about the progress that has been made, understanding the priorities for the particular agency and making sure that you're measuring those incrementally so that you can have that self-reflection point to say, hey, we're falling behind here. What can we do to accelerate? What are technologies that could help us with that as well? So it is that constant measurement that's really important here.
Are there places where you've seen agencies kind of really go wrong on zero trust, where they kind of veered off path and have had to course correct?
I think with technology changing as rapidly as it is, right? Like I think we probably all could look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done things a little bit different. But that's part of the excitement of what's happening right now. Technology is evolving so quickly that, we think that, as long as you're evaluating what's happening in the agencies, evaluating what technology is available to you, there's really no too far off the path, right? You have those core values that you're marching to with those pillars, and being able to keep those as the North Star is really important.
What do you recommend to organizations to do to make sure that their architectures and their implementations accommodate some kind of technology coming down the pike that we might not even anticipate today?
Yeah, you need to pick platforms that are flexible, right? You need to count on the evolution of technology. And so being able to have a platform that's going to be able to work with your tech stack today, but also for those unknowns that are going to come down the pike. So being able to think about that in a way where you are knowing there's change coming.
Tiffany, about a minute left or so. How do you look long-term at what's happening in the zero trust space? At some point in time, these organizations are going to hit their goals for operationalization. What comes next?
It's never over,
Yeah.
right? The adversaries are never going to stop. So there's always going to be that journey for all of our agencies and all of us as technologists to be able to continue to stay ahead of the curve. And I think that's why it's so exciting, especially right now with AI. The technology continues to just move so quickly and we don't know what's coming next, but that gives us great opportunity to continue to innovate and solve really important problems. So it's definitely more to come. Zero trust is never over.
It's great to talk to you. Thanks very much for your time today.
You too, Francis. Thank you.